Just my finances.
What happens when someone who built their entire career on controversy suddenly finds themselves facing the very reality they once mocked? B. Simone's recent journey has been a masterclass in how quickly fortune can change and how the internet never forgets your past mistakes. The woman who once infamously told her followers that people with 9-to-5 jobs
ain't nothing wrong with a 9-to-5. I get it. They work hard. I used to have a 9-to-5. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. You work hard, you have money. I get it. I need an entrepreneur. I need somebody that understands my mindset.
People in here have a 9-to-5, damn near. Clap if you would love to be there the next 30 to 40 years. The room is silent. The room is silent, so it's not about a 9-to-5. If that is your purpose, I'm not talking to you.
lacked ambition recently found herself in tears on her podcast, Let's Try This Again, revealing that she can now only afford to shop at H&M instead of Bloomingdale's.
The budgeting, you see how I am nitpicking every little thing. I've never been like that.
The irony wasn't lost on anyone watching. Here was the same person who had built a brand on financial superiority, now crying about her own financial struggles in a way that felt both vulnerable and tone-deaf.
The budgeting, you see how I am nitpicking every little thing. I've never been like that. We were in Bloomingdale's yesterday. I'm like, we have to go to H&M.
Yeah.
I notice it in me now, just nitpicking. And it's not even...
The moment sparked immediate backlash across social media platforms. People who remembered her dismissive attitude toward traditional employment couldn't help but point out the hypocrisy.
I went back and I watched that interview, her podcast with her friend, and I think we focusing on the wrong part of the podcast. See, people talking about B. Simone not being a good friend because she didn't help her while she was struggling. The young lady, car got repoed. She had to move back in with her mom. She was a single mom. And she said she had to watch B. Simone help other people, and she didn't ask her for help. I don't know why she didn't ask, but she figured it out on her own, and she's up. Now, here's the part where B. Simone is not a good person, because that part I just explained, that just says that she's not a good friend. B. Simone is not a good person because after that whole situation happened with the friend, she found her bearings, she gets on her feet, and she's offered a great opportunity, right? B. Simone says that she gets jealous. She doesn't know if it's jealousy, anger, sadness, whatever the emotion is, but she felt some type way when her friend got that opportunity. What?
Comments flooded in asking where all that entrepreneurial advice had led her, and why someone who preached financial independence was now publicly lamenting about discount shopping. An audience commented and said, "This is the same woman that was up and said, 'I'll never date a guy with a 9-to-5. Life has a funny way of humbling people. I don't feel bad for her at all.'" But beneath the surface criticism, something more complex was happening. This wasn't just another controversial moment designed for engagement. The tears seemed genuine, the vulnerability raw. B. Simone was experiencing something she'd never had to face publicly before. The reality that success isn't permanent, and that the very people she'd once looked down on might have had more stability than she'd ever achieved. While her financial revelations sparked controversy, B. Simone's physical transformation has been undeniably impressive and appears to be her most authentic change. Over the course of a year and 3 months, she committed to losing 35 pounds, documenting the entire journey on her @BSimoneFit Instagram page. The transformation wasn't just about the numbers on the scale. The fitness journey represented a shift from the instant gratification culture that had defined much of her career. Instead of looking for shortcuts or quick solutions, she committed to the daily work of strength training and healthy eating. The consistency required for this transformation stood in stark contrast to the chaotic energy that had previously defined her brand. Her candid discussion about her Ozempic experience also showed growth in her willingness to admit when something wasn't working. Rather than pushing through with a solution that made her sick, she chose to listen to her body and find a more sustainable path. This decision alone demonstrated a level of self-awareness that hadn't been present in her previous controversies.
I am so proud of myself. I was on Ozempic for years. I was on semaglutide for years. Yes, I was diagnosed with PCOS.
In one particularly emotional moment that went viral, B. Simone sat on a gym floor expressing genuine pride in her natural weight loss progress. In March 2025, she faced backlash after posting a TikTok video where she opened up about her decision to stop using Ozempic and diet pills while focusing on natural weight loss methods. In the video, posted on March 13, 2025, Simone sat on a gym floor and expressed pride in her progress, saying she was getting emotional because of her commitment to natural methods.
Guys, I'm really in this gym getting emotional because I am really doing this on my own without medication.
She had previously posted content in November 2024 showing how her body was changing since stopping Ozempic, holding up her shirt to show her belly and saying, "I done been off Ozempic for a little minute now, and my regular stomach is coming back." B. Simone's current situation must be understood within the context of her history of controversies. Her most significant previous scandal occurred in 2020 when she was accused of plagiarizing parts of her self-help book, Baby Girl, Manifest the Life You Want. Multiple social media users showed examples where pages from her book contained text nearly identical to that found in other books and internet sources. An audience said, "Would love for @TheB Simone to stop taking small content creators' hard work and selling it as her own. Disgusting. This is not entrepreneurship. This is plagiarizing." She's also faced criticism for controversial statements, including comments about not wanting to date a man with a 9-to-5 job, and various hygiene-related statements that went viral and drew significant backlash. An audience said, "Just because you might be miserable at your job doesn't mean you are not walking on purpose." Perhaps no aspect of B. Simone's recent transformation has been more controversial than her spiritual pivot. The woman who once carried rose quartz crystals in her bra, hoping to attract a husband,
Y'all still got rose quartz. I get it. I used to have the rose quartz in my bra. Like, I'm gonna find me a today. Yeah, this rose quartz, this rock gonna bring me my husband. I get it.
suddenly announced that she was now focusing on the blood of Jesus to guide her towards success, health, love, and prosperity.
I don't need a tool. I need the blood. So if you ain't covered in the blood, hey!
The timing of this spiritual shift raised eyebrows across her fan base. Critics questioned whether this was genuine spiritual growth or another calculated rebrand designed to capture a different audience. The rapid pivot from crystals to Christianity felt less like organic spiritual development and more like a marketing strategy. This skepticism was further fueled by her attempt to rebrand herself as the dead-ass girl, encouraging people to do the work of personal transformation.
It's not about the physical. Once you master self-discipline, consistency, and self-control, the physical will follow.
While the message of personal responsibility and growth isn't inherently problematic, the packaging felt performative to many longtime observers of her content. The spiritual rebranding also coincided with other controversies and criticism, making it difficult for audiences to separate genuine spiritual awakening from damage control. When someone has built their career on adaptability and reinvention, every change becomes suspect, especially when it conveniently addresses recent criticism. However, it's worth noting that spiritual journeys are deeply personal and often don't follow logical timelines. The challenge for B. Simone is that her entire life has been lived in public, making it nearly impossible for any transformation to feel private or authentic. Every spiritual revelation becomes content. Every breakthrough becomes a potential marketing opportunity. One of the most consistent patterns in B. Simone's recent journey has been the breakdown of personal relationships. She cut ties with close friends, including her former best friend Megan Ashley, with whom she had co-hosted a podcast called Know For Sure. The partnership ended abruptly, sending B. Simone back to solo Instagram lives and spiritual soliloquies. The pattern of broken friendships has become a recurring theme in her story. Each relationship seems to start with excitement and collaboration, only to end in silence and speculation. This cycle raises questions about whether the constant need for content creation makes it impossible to maintain genuine relationships, or whether deeply personal issues are driving people away. B. Simone acknowledges that nobody knows even half of what I'm dealing with outside of the cameras, outside of social media, outside of what y'all see on the internet, but y'all have seen me fight some public battles. She also talked about anything that dragged me publicly, I've had to be resilient and come back from it.
Half of what I'm dealing with outside of the cameras, outside of social media, outside of what y'all see on the internet. Drug me publicly, I've had to be resilient and come back from.
This tendency to overmanage and control various aspects of her life and relationships may explain why partnerships become unsustainable. The pressure of maintaining friendships while also creating content about those relationships creates an inherent conflict between authenticity and performance. After ending her friendship with Megan Ashley, B. Simone notably shifted her attention to seeking validation through men, particularly through her very public crush on controversial rapper DaBaby.
I love DaBaby so much.
And look.
He be leaving my DMs on scene.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Man, DaBaby.
This pattern of moving from friend drama to romantic pursuit has become predictable, almost like a formula she follows when one source of content dries up. By 2024, there was a palpable sense of exhaustion from B. Simone's audience regarding her constant rebranding efforts. Critics and media outlets began openly stating that people had reached their breaking point with her frequent pivots and controversial takes.
Now, B. Simone ends up detailing that she was essentially fresh off of the red carpet, still in full glam.
The timeline of her transformations became so rapid and sometimes contradictory that audiences stopped taking them seriously. As one media outlet noted, since 2024, her rebrand was nothing more than a marketing scheme. The criticism wasn't just about any single controversy anymore. It was about the pattern of constantly cycling through different personas.
She put out a clip or a snippet of her having an interview with DaBaby. And if anybody knows, she's always said that was her crush.
Comments on her content increasingly reflected this fatigue. People pointed out that she'd gone from grieving her close friend Jackie O to promoting payment of only close friends access. The criticism wasn't just about any single controversy anymore. It was about the pattern itself, the way she seemed to cycle through different personas depending on what would generate the most engagement.
B. Simone is asking for people to pay for access to her close friends as she grieves her friend Jackie O.
The public's fatigue also reflected a broader cultural shift in how we consume influencer content. Audiences were becoming more sophisticated in their ability to distinguish between authentic vulnerability and performed authenticity. B. Simone's constant reinvention, which had once been seen as entrepreneurial flexibility, was now being read as a lack of genuine identity. Despite the criticism, B. Simone has been consistently documenting her fitness journey through her dedicated fitness page at BSimoneFit. She has reportedly lost about 30 pounds and has been sharing her journey from overcoming depression to embracing a healthier lifestyle. In her recent content, she's credited much of her transformation to her strengthened relationship with God, saying, I just have to thank God. Thank you, God. This spiritual component appears to be a significant part of her current narrative.
When you're in it,
The central challenge for B. Simone remains distinguishing between genuine personal growth and strategic rebranding. Her willingness to show vulnerability, including discussing her struggles with weight, depression, and the decision to stop using Ozempic, suggests some level of authenticity.
I am so proud of myself. I was on Ozempic for years. I was on semaglutide for years. Yes, I was diagnosed with PCOS.
However, the timing and presentation of these revelations continue to be viewed through the lens of the previous controversies. When someone has made multiple dramatic pivots, every subsequent change becomes suspect, regardless of its potential authenticity. The vulnerability required to admit you're broke when you've built your brand on financial success takes courage. Similarly, documenting the messy process of weight loss and mental health struggles requires a level of honesty that pure performance wouldn't sustain. B. Simone's story continues to evolve in real time, making it impossible to definitively judge whether her current transformation will stick. She continues with solo Instagram lives and spiritual soliloquies, attempting to position herself as a wellness and transformation guide. The audience reaction remains mixed, with some followers appreciating her vulnerability and fitness journey, while others remain skeptical of her motivations. An audience commented and said, "I love this, B. Simone. Someone who finally tells the truth about these drugs. You are truly amazing. I wish other people would stop pretending that they hitting the gym and doing all these natural way of losing weight, but just be truthful. The real test for transformation won't be in the dramatic moments or spiritual revelations, but in the consistency of her daily choices. Will she continue the fitness journey when it's no longer generating engagement? Will she maintain the spiritual practices when they're not trending? Will she be able to build genuine relationships outside of the public eye? Her story serves as a cautionary tale about the challenges of living authentically in the public eye.
Not about the physical. Once you master self-discipline, consistency, and self-control, the physical will follow. It has no choice but to follow. I'm not in a rush to be skinny. I'm in a rush to be disciplined.
When your entire career depends on being interesting, when every moment of your life becomes content, it becomes increasingly difficult to distinguish between genuine growth and performative transformation. Simone's journey reflects broader cultural tensions about authenticity in the digital age. Her story illustrates how social media has created a paradox where the most vulnerable moments become the most valuable content, making it nearly impossible to distinguish between genuine emotional expression and performance. The exhaustion her audience feels toward her constant reinvention mirrors a broader cultural fatigue with influencer culture. People are becoming more sophisticated in their ability to identify performative authenticity, but they're also potentially dismissing genuine growth because it's presented through familiar promotional channels.
Just my finances. The budgeting, you see how I am.
Her financial struggles highlight the instability of the influencer economy and the pressure to constantly reinvent oneself to maintain relevance. The same adaptability that initially made her successful has become a liability as audiences demand more consistency and authenticity. B. Simone's transformation from controversy to consciousness remains incomplete and ongoing. Her story illustrates both the possibility and the difficulty of genuine change in the social media age. While her fitness journey and health improvements appear authentic, her spiritual rebranding and business pivots continue to raise questions about motivation and authenticity.
In a rush to be skinny, I'm in a rush to be disciplined. I'm not in a rush to stop overeating. I'm in a rush to have self-control with what goes into my mouth. I'm in a rush to be consistent.
The woman who once built her empire on controversy is now trying to build something more sustainable on consciousness. Whether she succeeds will depend not on her ability to generate viral moments, but on her willingness to do the unglamorous work of genuine transformation even when the cameras aren't rolling. Her story reminds us that real change is possible, but it requires consistency, authenticity, and the courage to be boring when being dramatic would be easier. The sequel to B. Simone's story is still being written, and the ending remains uncertain. What's clear is that her journey from controversy to consciousness is far more complicated than a simple redemption arc. It's a messy, ongoing process that reflects the complex reality of trying to grow and heal in the public eye, where every mistake is magnified and every transformation is scrutinized. Her story serves as both inspiration and cautionary tale, showing us the possibility of genuine change while highlighting the challenges of maintaining authenticity in a culture that rewards performance over truth. The real question isn't whether B. Simone can transform, but whether she can do so while maintaining the vulnerability and consistency that genuine growth requires. Her journey continues to unfold, offering lessons about the intersection of personal growth, public performance, and the search for authentic self-expression in the digital age.